My teachings are based on my experiences, my raw, candid, authentic truth. Anyone can learn from what I've learned. This is me, my story, my methods, my healing, my overcoming. Thank you for stopping by.
Have you ever noticed how the Bible talks more about struggle than it does happiness? Do yourself a favor, download a concordance and search the word happy in the Bible. You hear about joy, you hear about the joy of the Lord and the things that joyed the Lord or was pleasing to God, but you rarely see the word happy. Why is that? Why is it more about sacrifice? Why do you see the word sacrifice more, or struggle, right? Because in this life, the strength that we need comes from our struggles. It comes from our sacrifices. It comes from what we have to lose, what we have to give up in order to receive that spiritual discipline to know everything is not always going to go my way, but I got to keep believing. I have to keep praising. I have to keep pressing. I have to keep on in this mission, in this journey, no matter if it looks like or feels like how I want it to look or how I want it to feel, right? And so that's why there's so much more of a focus on struggle, right? Because one, we are born fighting our own internal struggle, right? We're born into a world of sin, meaning we're born into an energy, we're born into a space, we're born into an arena where we're going to be tempted with things that are going to cause us to go against ourselves. We're going to be shown things. We're going to be exposed. We're going to be connected to. We're going to hear with our senses. We're going to touch, smell, feel things that are going to work opposite to the plan that God has created us to do, right? So when we are connected to those things that are not like God, that's when we're connected to sin. So whether it be strife, anger, rage, greed, all those things are sin, because they're the opposite of what God has intended for us to do, feel, think, or be, or become. And so because we are born into the world of sin, guess what? We're already born fighting a battle, right? God has created us in his image to be like him, to multiply his spirit. What is his spirit? His spirit is power, it's greatness, it's love, it's abundance, it's creation, right? He created us to multiply his spirit in this earthly realm for his power to show forth through the people he created. And so as we are born in his image, there's also opposing energy, opposing spirits. There's demons, there's devils or demons, however you want to call them, that work opposite of what God has created. So we're already fighting a battle as soon as we are born. And if we're walking around happy all the time, guess what? When you get happy, let me tell you something. When you're struggling, it is so easy to pray to God. Lord, please help me. Help me pay this bill. Help this happen. Help me to get out of this situation, right? We are humbled when we struggle. That humility gives the power back to God. As soon as things are going great, as soon as we feeling good, as soon as things start to turn around, guess what? We right back to being not as humble, not praying as much, not being as disciplined, not talking to God as much. And we back to being back in our old selves or old situation. We just happy, right? So then what happens? God will allow something to happen to shift our attention back to him and to humble us back to him, meaning things are going good, I'm not worried about God, just left, right, and then boom, something happens. Now it's like, Lord, please help me. Lord, please fix it. Lord, do X, Y, Z. And in those cases, that's when we go back to God. But what did we do? We either sacrificed something, we lost something, or we had to struggle in order to go back to where we should have been. So the point of our life is to be who he called us to be and to multiply who he called us to be in the earth, because guess what? The enemy's out here fighting, collecting people to be on his side. So guess what? God wants us to do the same thing, to collect people to be on his side, right? And so how can we fight the enemy and go through this journey if we're always in play mode, if we're always in just happy, not focused on what we're supposed to be doing mode? It's nothing wrong with being happy. Do not get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with joy. Okay, but the word says the joy of the Lord is my strength, which means when you do the things that please God, when you walk according to his calling, when you walk according to his purpose, when you walk according to his commandments, yes, that pleases God and that gives you strength. And what does that give you strength to do? To do his work. This battle is serious. It's not easy. Every day we're fighting addictions, we're fighting temptations, we're fighting false information, we're fighting food that they're giving us that's no good for us. We are in a fight for souls. We are in a fight for health. We are in a fight for position. We are in a fight every day from the day we are born, just because God created us, called us, chose us, and imaged us and molded us to be just like him. That caused the fight. That caused the fight. Okay, there are in this spiritual warfare, there are entities that want to kill, steal, and destroy. And God wants to build, heal, and create. And so those two opposing forces are always at war. And it's a serious thing. Lives are a serious thing. Souls are a serious thing. Health is a serious thing. Mental health, peace, all of these things are serious matters. And so we get so caught up in, I just want to be happy, I just want things to be peaceful, and not realizing that there's so much more to what's going on. And if we get everything that we want, we might not have a reason to go pray. We might not have a reason to go humble ourselves and ask God for help. We might not have a reason to really center ourselves and focus on his word. And when we do gain that discipline, so where we know no matter what, a shadow of a doubt, our faith doesn't sway, we're in our word, we're doing what we're supposed to do, that's when he opens up the windows of heaven and pours out blessings that we won't have room to receive. That's when the abundance comes. That's when the network comes. That's when everywhere you go, somebody aligns with your purpose. Somebody aligns with an idea you had. Somebody aligns with something that you were trying to do, because now you're in the will of God. The will of God is to uplift. The will of God is to add to. The will of God is increase. The will of God is elevation. The will of God is transformation. As you start to elevate, transform, become the best version of yourself, which is the version that's most like God, that's when he begins to give you all the blessings that you wanted. And you do have happiness, but more than happiness, you have strength. It's better to be strong spiritually than happy physically. Let me say that again. That's a word right there. It's better to be strong physically than happy. It's better to be strong spiritually than happy physically. Strong spiritually than happy physically. It's more important to be an asset to God than to worry about your physical assets. Period. Because guess what? All of the material things will fade away. All of the accomplishments and accolades will fade away. All the things that we felt meant something to us then will fade away. And all we will have is our spiritual being. And that spiritual being strong. And that strength comes through struggle. Let me say that again. Strength comes through struggle. Knowing how to really pray and tap in and align with God comes through struggle. Knowing how to be grateful for the blessings that you receive and it not just handed out to you comes through struggle. Knowing how to save comes from losing. Knowing how to walk in alignment with God and have that discipline comes from being undisciplined and losing it all. He will allow you to go through things that are only going to sharpen you, that are only going to make you better. Why? Because you're in a battle and he wants you to win. He wants you to win. So anything that he allows to happen to you, for you, around you, next to you, beside you, behind you, is all working together for your good. And so the things that he allows to you to go through that have to do with struggle, that have to do with strengthening you, that have to do with sacrifice, meaning you're losing something, you're giving away something, you're turning down that desire, that's all to strengthen you so that you can be built up in him, so you can help build up his kingdom. Do not be caught up on being happy. Do not focus on the fact, oh, I'm not happy right now. This person not making me happy. Ask, is this thing making me strong? Rather than asking, is it making you happy? Ask, is this making me stronger? Is this making me more in tune spiritually? Is this sharpening my weapons of warfare because I understand the battle? I understand that I'm here to help save other souls from the other side. When you start to ask those questions, that's when you will start to feel more fulfilled, and that's when you'll be in alignment with God, and everything you desire will flow. And yes, you will be happy, but more importantly, you'll be strong.
Want to read about my transformation journey and find out how you too can overcome any obstacle? Visit Amazon right now to purchase my book, What is Too Much? How to Do Too Much the Right Way.